Of course, right after my show, the Cincinnati Bengals and quarterback Andy Dalton agreed to a 6-year, $115 million contract. Since it happened after my show, I need to announce it just to let y'all know. Now back to today's show. Hey, what's going on, guys? This is the Short Sports Show. I'm your host, Daniel Short. Today is Monday, August 4th, 2014, and football is back. With the NFL Hall of Fame game in the books, Giants getting the win over the Bills. We'll talk about that. Also, college players report to camp today. Beginning of football, it's in the air. I feel it already. And also, we will talk about the college top 25 poll being released, and I got a little bit of disagreements with some of those. But anyways, first we will talk about some college football news, beginning with suspensions. It's all about players being suspended right now. I don't know what's going on, why players are just deciding just to do some stupid things, ending a scholarship and just ending part of their education. But anyways, we'll start off with Wake Forest running back Dominique Gibson has been suspended from the team for violating undisclosed team rules. Gibson is the team's leading rusher, and check this out, only has 138 yards on 53 carries with only one touchdown last season. That is the Demon Deacon's leading rusher. Not too good. He also caught 8 passes for 87 yards and another touchdown. His teammate, I guess you could say backup, didn't do so well either, only having 136 total rushing yards. So not much of a running game there, I guess. Also, Pittsburgh cornerback Titus Howard has been suspended for the entire 2014 season. Howard will remain on the team with practicing and just other small things for the Pittsburgh Panthers under the terms of the suspension. No reason was given why he was suspended. I guess another violating undisclosed team rules. He was projected as a starter entering the season. Howard played in 11 games and started as a freshman in 2013, having 21 tackles and 2 pass breakups. But the major suspensions and major players getting kicked off teams is Texas Longhorns, with head coach Charlie Strong coming in there, really changing what's happening at Texas. And honestly, it's a good thing. For Texas fans, you're thinking, oh, this is just a terrible thing. Imagine how bad it was when Mac Brown was actually there just letting players slide. Because this is still Mac Brown's, team. This is who he recruited out of high school, their character that he saw in them, and really didn't care about it. But Charlie Strong has a completely different mindset, a mindset that every college football coach should have, no matter if you're the head coach or an assistant. And he's doing things the right way. As he confirmed Sunday that he has dismissed 5 players and suspended 3 more indefinitely. Strong announced the dismissal of running backs Joe Bergeron and Jalen Overstreet and defensive back Javoski Collins. And his first public comment since July reports that the trio had been kicked off the team. All 3 players have been granted a release to transfer, so since they are seniors, they will be able to play this upcoming year. Also, Strong said that running back / wide receiver Dejay Johnson, and offensive tackle Desmond Harrison, and safety Josh Turner will be suspended for at least the first game of the season. And Dejay Johnson is their star player. He had 1,000+ yards of total offense last year, and a very solid kick returner as well. So he's going to be missed for the first game. All 3 players will practice with the team when the Longhorns begin fall camp today, which is with a lot of teams. I know TCU Horned Frogs, they have players reporting. LSU, I believe everybody has all players reporting today. But anyways, back to the Longhorns. For the same undisclosed violation, Charlie Strong also confirmed that wide receivers Kendall Saunders and Montreal Minder, who were arrested last month on sexual assault charges, have been removed from the program and cannot rejoin the team. So they could stay at Texas, but they're not playing football anymore. And Kendall Saunders was also a very electric wide receiver for the Longhorns, and he will look to transfer. Charlie Strong went and said this, saying, quote, "We have core values within this program. We expect our players to abide by those values. You take away something that's important to them, and football is really important to a lot of these players, and you make sure with Make sure that with the games taken away from them, they understand how important it is to represent this great university, not only on the field, but off. With core values, I say it all the time, if a young man does not want to be a part of this program, just go break a core value of this program. You'll be telling me a lot about where you stand. We have 85 guys on scholarship. If you look at it, 80 of them are doing it the right way. Why can't the rest of them? And he said that his 5 core values are honesty, treating women with respect, no drugs, stealing, or guns. In his first meeting with new players in January, and said he had no intention of running players off the team, saying, quote, "We are not in the business of kicking young men out. The streets have a lot of people out there that are not doing anything with their lives. When you have a young man with potential and has everything given to him, then there is no reason for them not to be successful. We want to make sure that happens in this program." I think they messed up there. I think he meant to say we want to make sure that does not happen, because I don't think you want to. Oh, no, that's right. I can't read. But anyways, other news for the Texas Longhorns is that senior linebacker Kendall Thompson, who has dealt with concussions throughout his career, is taking a medical scholarship to stay in school, but is ending his playing career. So he will no longer play. Was a very talented linebacker, and sadly concussions have got to him. Also, University of Alabama has suspended Brandon Ivory, Jaron Reed, and Tim Williams for violation of team rules and policy. Nick Saban went on to say each guy can return to the team upon completion of their requirement of what they have to do relative to their suspension. We have no date that I can give you when that's going to be completed. So right there, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 players in just 1 week alone suspended off the team, and a few of them kicked off a team. What is going on, society? You got an entire scholarship to a 4-year university, and if you think about all of them, Alabama, Texas, Pittsburgh, and Wake Forest, all very solid. Well, Alabama, Texas being top universities, Pittsburgh as well. Wake Forest, hey, you're a good university, but scholarship, 4 years, any degree that you want to get, all paid for, and you get to play football, and these guys are all starters, and you blow it just by drinking, or the worst thing is sexually assaulting somebody, and just blow it all by one night, just like that. Crazy. But let's get on to something a little bit brighter, just a little bit. Maryland and Northern Illinois have scheduled a home-and-home series in 2020 and 2021. The 2020 game will be in Maryland, and the 2021 game at Northern Illinois. The 2021, it's crazy, it's just saying 2020. Contest will mark the first time NIU has hosted a Big Ten opponent at home. The addition of the home and home series with Maryland is the latest in recent scheduling upgrades by Northern Illinois. As earlier this week, they announced home and home series with San Diego State for 2016 and 2017, Utah for 2018, 2019, and BYU in 2018 and 2020. Those are pretty solid games right there. That was really, really good games to watch, depending on how NIU plays, of course, those years. Sad news. As I just said, let's get to brighter topics. We'll go right back to some sad news. Georgia wide receiver Malcolm Mitchell. A lot of people remember him as star wide receiver for the Georgia Bulldogs. Season opener. I believe, was it Todd Gurley? He runs for a touchdown. Everybody's celebrating. Jumps up in the celebration. Comes down. Boom, just like that. Tears a ligament in his right knee. And it takes him out for the entire year. And sadly, he has endured another setback this year. He was throwing, he was running some routes with the quarterback, and apparently they were slant routes, and just re-injured his right knee, just like that, just gave out on him. And I believe he underwent surgery as well. Yeah, he underwent surgery. So his playing career is definitely in a huge doubt right now. And it's sad. It started off just by the season opener against Clemson last year. Celebrates, jumps, falls, comes down wrong, boom, out for the year. And then also he hurt his left leg during spring practice and missed the remaining workouts this year. Just to have another workout, just not an official team organized practice, just throwing some routes, injures his knee, gone just like that. So really sad news because he was a very talented wide receiver for the Georgia Bulldogs, and they looked for him to be, again, that top receiver for them. And sadly, now he won't. Some crazy news is that Florida State officials received an email from Nike during the 2013 season last year asking the Seminoles coach Jimbo Fisher to eliminate any Under Armour gear from his son's wardrobe after the 9-year-old was seen on TV wearing a sweatshirt. This was from the Wall Street Journal reporting on Friday. Mark Dupes, the Nike Assistant Director of Football Sports Marketing, who oversees FSU's licensing and apparel deal, sent an email congratulating the athletic department officials for the team's victory over Miami on November 2nd, saying this: "Hey guys, great win and game. Appreciate everything you do for us. Keep it rolling. Hey, I just got a text from USA Director of Sports Marketing last night telling me how good things look with FSU player and our players and sideline staff. Exposure for the brand was exceptional." Then 5 minutes later, I received a new message said ABC cameras were on Jimbo and his son at the end of the game. His son was wearing Under Armour FSU sweatshirt. Ouch. Can we please ask Jimbo to eliminate that from his son's wardrobe in the future? Let me know if I can help with anything. Thanks, guys. MD. How would you feel? Someone just said, "Hey, your son can't wear that." Anyways, Ethan, who is Jimbo Fisher's son, wore Nike apparel for the remainder of the team's national championship season. Just like that. Now, I was reading into it. Nike wasn't being, buttholes about it. They weren't being mean. They just said, "Hey, we can't, you're with us now. Can't really have that. Just don't wear it here. Here's some Nike stuff. Kabam. You're set." But it's pretty funny how that all worked out. How it just quickly right after that, boom, all he wore was Nike, nothing else. The last news before we talk about the NCAA Top 25 poll is Auburn star quarterback Nick Marshall, who was cited by police for possession of marijuana last month, will not start Week 1 against Arkansas, according to head coach Gus Malzahn. In addition to Marshall, cornerback Jonathan Mincy will also not start Week 1. The 3-year starter was arrested and charged with second-degree marijuana possession in late June. And God, just lay off the weed. One, it makes you slower. I'm pretty sure smoking makes you slower as being top athletes. And if you're a star quarterback and a star cornerback, why? Just don't. Just don't. Especially, you made it to the national championship game with a lot of luck against Georgia and against Alabama. You got to keep something going, and bad momentum going against Arkansas. Hey, Arkansas can shock some people this year. I wouldn't be surprised, especially now you don't have your starting quarterback. You can see that number 5 ranking, which Auburn is at to start the season, quickly dropped to a 15 or 20 by losing to Arkansas. Got to watch what they're doing. And leading up to that is the USA Today poll, top 25. Florida State leads it all, defending their national championship with Heisman Trophy winner Jameis Winston at number 1 overall. Then Alabama being second. Oklahoma starting at number 3. I haven't seen Oklahoma up there in a while. Oregon, Auburn, Ohio State, UCLA, Michigan State, South Carolina, and number 10 Baylor finish out the top 10. After that is Stanford, Georgia, LSU, Wisconsin, USC. University of Southern California back there at number 15. Clemson, Notre Dame, Arizona State, Ole Miss, Texas A&M, Kansas State, Nebraska, North Carolina, somehow Texas at number 24, and then Washington, UW, the Huskies at number 25. This is where I have a problem with the top 25. Now, again, I'm not trying to be biased or anything that I don't like Texas, but how come Missouri, who second place in the SEC overall rankings, making it to the SEC championship, they still have a pretty solid quarterback. Even though they lose James Franklin, they have Matty Monk, who filled in some time last season and did pretty well, is not ranked. Florida, who had a bad year, but returning a lot of people, it was a young roster. They're not ranked. UCF, they lost Blake Bortles, but hey, they still had a pretty solid squad out there. Oklahoma State also lost some people, but are looking to bounce back, especially since they open up at Cowboy Stadium, at AT&T Stadium against Florida State. You don't even have them ranked. My TCU Horned Frogs, now I understand why you don't have us ranked, but I like to see a number 25, somewhere up there. Michigan, they're another team that has people returning. Iowa did pretty good against LSU in that Outback Bowl. Miami has Storm Johnson returning at running back. You don't have them. Duke put one heck of a game against Texas A&M. They're not ranked. And that's about it. There's some other teams like Marshall, BYU, Boise State, and Virginia Tech. But Texas Tech wasn't even ranked. I don't like them, but they did pretty well. And they're not in there. They also won that huge game, the Holiday Bowl. Not ranked. But you got Texas, who out of the past 4 years have been out of the top 25 3 of those 4 years. You continue to put them back in there. The reason I say Texas A&M not going back in there, they don't have Johnny Manziel. They don't have Mike Evans. That defense was absolutely dreadful last season. Yeah, they're returning those guys. That's not necessarily a great thing. They did bring in a good recruiting class, but you don't even know who their quarterback is going to be, and the quarterback even has troubles off the field. So at 20, that's a little giving. I understand what they did last season, but this is a brand new poll. This is not what you did last season. This is what you bring it back this season, and the players that are projected to start and things like that. A&M, that's a little high. Kansas State, I see them up there. North Carolina, they did pretty well. Washington, I wouldn't even be surprised they go up. Notre Dame, being at 17, I feel like that's a little high. Ole Miss, I feel like at 19, still a little bit high. USC, it's another team. I believe they deserve to be in the top 25, but at number 15, that is really, really giving. But I have to say that Missouri has to be in the top 25. Take Texas out, put Missouri at 24, or even moving up. Texas A&M, if you want to say they should be in the top 25, they should be number 25. They just, they have Trey Williams at running back. They have a good running back core coming in. At quarterback, it's a little iffy because, yeah, you have some talented players, but they continue to have off-the-field trouble. So what are you going to do there if they get suspended or something? Really, the top 10, I think, looks good. I mean, Florida State, Alabama, Oklahoma, Oregon. Oregon is always some team they just always put low. I could see Oregon being number 2 over Alabama. Alabama finished with back-to-back losses, especially a terrible loss against Oklahoma. And I know Oklahoma had a worse record than – actually, no, they didn't. They had the same record as Alabama to finish off the year. How do you put Alabama above Oklahoma? And Oklahoma doesn't really lose that many people. They got Sterling Shepard coming back, wide receiver. I don't know. It's a huge slap in the face if you're Oklahoma having Alabama right above you. Auburn, I can see why they dropped down. They had a lot of luck going in there. Ohio State, they got Braxton Miller, expecting a huge – his last year, his senior this year. UCLA being at 7 is good. Michigan State, amazing defense being at number 8. South Carolina, that's probably – I can't believe I just ignored that. That is really high. Now, Mike Davis, I believe that's his name, at running back, he's very talented. Probably going to be the number 1 running back in college football this year. At number 9, no Jadeveon Clowney, no Connor Shaw at quarterback. That is really giving. I see Stanford being better. Baylor's probably better, depending on how Baylor's defense is. Georgia, that's pretty high. They lose Aaron Murray. You lost Malcolm Mitchell again. You do have Todd Gurley coming back, but can he stay healthy? Another thing. LSU, you lose Zach Mettenberg, but you have pretty good backup quarterbacks that are competing to be the starter right now. Wisconsin, again, they just continue to recruit great running backs. They'll be set. And that's about it. Clemson, lose Taj Boyd and Sammy Watkins, but looking to return a few players. So overall, it's not too bad. I just think it's just the bottom half of the poll, about 15 all the way down. Needs to be changed. Obviously, it won't, but it gives a lot of motivation to Missouri, Florida, UCF, Oklahoma State, TCU, Michigan, Iowa, Miami, Duke, all those teams right there. A lot of motivation throughout the season. But that's it for college football. Now we'll move on to the NFL and preseason football. Hall of Fame game was a really exciting game. You saw the Giants defeat the Buffalo Bills 17-13. Sadly, we didn't really get to see too much on Sammy Watkins. We saw a few go routes that he had the speed, just quarterback overthrew him. E.J. Manuel looked really off last night. I mean, he's 6'4", 6'5", and he had multiple passes batted down. He looked like he was a 5'11" quarterback. Looked like a Doug Flutie out there. And it seemed like every pass was just getting blocked. Now, I don't know if it's maybe we should just credit more to the Giants' defense that were just sitting in the right zones or reading E.J. Manuel's eyes perfectly, and they were just there knowing that he was going to throw that direction because they were batting down balls like it was nobody's business. So that really needs to change. But the Buffalo Bills defense looked very much improved and looks like it can be a very top defense, really great defense in the NFL this year. Now, again, I know against the Giants offense that their complete offensive line is brand new, but I didn't think it looked that bad. Bills defense looks amazing. Giants offense, now I know some people are going to say, hey, we looked pretty good out there. The time that the Giants got their offense rolling was when the Bills put in their backups. That's not a good thing for the Giants. I know Eli Manning was 6 for 7 with about 47 yards. Just looked bad. I mean, there were just quick little routes. And then he started picking it up when there was backups. So for somebody that said that they wanted Eli Manning to have a 70% completion record, don't look for that to happen if they can't get past a second-string defense. But news across the league right now is Washington Redskins waive wide receiver Jerry Rice Jr. after suffering a shoulder injury last week. Rice was waived on Sunday and with the injured designation. If he goes unclaimed, he'll revert to the team's injured reserve list. He'll still be paid, but not his full $420,000 salary if his 3-year contract contains a, quote, split provision in the event of an injury. Well, every other team has the right to make a claim for his contract, but it's unlikely that anyone will. Of course, Jerry Rice Jr. is the son of Hall of Famer Jerry Rice, who will need surgery to repair a torn labrum. And the last night, Sunday evening, the Green Bay Packers released a statement about a Monday announcement concerning the team's Hall of Fame and some guy named Brett Favre. The announcement is set for Monday afternoon, but Brett Favre said on his website last night he will be entering the Hall and having his jersey retired in 2015. This is what Brett Favre had to say, quote, "I am pleased to announce that I will be returning to Green Bay, Wisconsin in 2015 for the induction of the Green Bay Packers Hall of Fame and retirement of my jersey. It was a tremendous honor to play 16 years for the Green Bay Packers and now to have my name placed among others such as Starr, Hornrug, Kramer, Taylor, Lambeau, Nitschicks, I hope I said that name right, Lombardi, Davis, White, and Hudson is a special honor that I share with all my teammates and coaches, and that would not have been possible without the foresight of Ron Wolf, the greatest GM in the history of the NFL. I am truly looking forward to celebrating and sharing this special moment with all of the great fans of the Green Bay Packers." But even though he announced that along with the Green Bay Packers, we all know that Brett Favre can't change his mind a lot. So I'm not saying take it with a grain of salt, but, not saying take the entire, well, I don't know. I was trying to make a phrase, and that went terribly wrong. The point is, he did say that he's going into the Hall of Fame, and I don't see him backing out of it, but it's just, we all know what Brett Favre can change his mind. Former NFL wide receiver Reggie Caldwell was arrested again in Florida last night in his third arrest in 2014. According to Greg Auman of the Tampa Bay Times, Caldwell was arrested on charges of possession of marijuana and driving with a suspended license. In May, he was arrested for the possession of a controlled substance with the intent to distribute, following a January arrest for running an illegal gambling operation. So, yeah, he's gone down to deep end. Very, very deep end. Dallas Cowboys quarterback Tony Romo said Sunday he will not play in Thursday night's preseason opener against my San Diego Superchargers, saying, quote, "We have talked about it a little bit, and we're going to be smart." Romo told the Fort Worth Star-Telegram, saying, "Most likely, I'll probably sit out the San Diego game and play in game 2 and go from there." So that means Brandon Weeden will take over for the Cowboys preseason week 1 Thursday night against my San Diego Superchargers. I am so excited. I love preseason. I don't know why people don't enjoy preseason that much. I know it's not the regular season. I know you don't get as pumped up as... Actually, if you think about it, you're probably more pumped for preseason, like the week 1, than you are throughout the regular season because, football's finally back. Apparently, it's been 183 days since the Seahawks won the Super Bowl, which was a long time ago. That's what it feels like. It doesn't feel like to me it was a long time ago, but when you say 183 days, God, that was forever ago. And it's been 6 months without football. So think of how pumped you are. And me, I love seeing preseason. You're seeing every player other than, your main starters competing out there because they know the job is on the line and one play can signify their playing career or it can quickly end something, and then you're working at a retail store or something like that. No disrespect to people that work at retail, so do I. It's terrible. Absolutely terrible. But the main point is I'm excited for preseason. I bought that preseason live from NFL so I can watch all 65 preseason games, mainly my San Diego Chargers if I miss them or don't see the ending, because now back on the Central Time, we're 2 hours ahead, so their games start 9 o'clock, so it ends probably 11 midnight. If I don't see it, I'm sad. So anyways, that we just really went off. The Carolina Panthers first round draft pick Kelvin Benjamin returned to practice on Saturday, showing no lingering effects of a bruised knee suffered 6 days ago. Benjamin said, quote, "I feel great. I've missed a couple practices, so that was a downfall for me. But to go back out there and continue where I left off felt good." San Francisco 49ers defensive tackle Glenn Dorsey is expected to miss the entire season with a torn bicep. He injured his left arm at practice Friday and left the field after being attended to by training staff, and he will have surgery today. He is a free agent, and the worst part about it, I don't know if people have heard, is that when he got hurt on Friday, that was his birthday as well. It's like, happy birthday, you're going to miss the entire season, and you're a free agent next year, so don't look to be re-signed. Wow, what an awesome birthday gift. The Atlanta Falcons offensive tackle Taron Jones was carted off the field and taken away in an ambulance after suffering an undisclosed injury Sunday. Jones was motionless and had his eyes closed as he exited. His neck was strapped down upon being placed on the stretcher. Head coach Mike Smith said, quote, "We certainly hope Taron is going to be all right. We don't have any update right now, but as soon as we do, we will release that information. Anytime a player doesn't leave the field on his own power, you are always concerned about it." Really, really bad news. He was a practice squad member last season, but was looking to be a part of, a reserve player, off the bench or something like that. But now his career is in question. Also, the Falcons signed safety Terrell Johnson after starter Dwight Lowry suffered a concussion that might end his season. Johnson has 5 years of NFL experience, 4 with the Minnesota Vikings. He's a second-round draft pick from Arkansas State, and Johnson started 27 games in Minnesota. They do have a lot of young DBs out there that would try to start for Lowry in case he can't go. Crazy part is Lowry hasn't had a whole lot of concussions. He's had 4 total. That's including his college and the NFL. He's had 3 in the NFL, including now this one. But, I mean, it doesn't mean that just because you have 1 concussion, it doesn't mean anything. But it's crazy how exactly 1 concussion can end your entire season just like that before it's even started. Which is not good for the Falcons because they really needed Dwight Lauer to be on that back end for the defense. But again, like I said, preseason week 1 starts Thursday, August 7th. Here are the list of games. Is the Buffalo Bills. They go right back at it after just playing last night. They go right back at it, playing at Carolina against the Panthers. Then we have the Cincinnati Bengals taking on Kansas City. The Cleveland Browns and possibly Johnny Manziel's debut on the road in Detroit. Awesome. Everybody's going to be watching that. You're going to see highlights. Hopefully Johnny Manziel can make that one play that we all know is Johnny Football. The Dallas Cowboys take on the San Diego Chargers. Green Bay Packers at Tennessee. Houston at Arizona. Indianapolis Colts take on the New York Jets. Miami at Atlanta. The New England Patriots taking on the Washington Redskins. New Orleans Saints at St. Louis. Oakland at Minnesota, Philadelphia at Chicago, Pittsburgh at New York, Giants. Got to make sure we separate those. Whoa. How is that possible? I just checked that out. The Indianapolis Colts take on the New York Jets. It says it's at New York for the Jets, and Pittsburgh takes on the Giants in New York. They both play at the same stadium. I don't know how that happens in the same day. Maybe I misread that. Maybe that's a Friday game. I don't know. And then San Francisco takes on the Baltimore Ravens. Tampa Bay at Jacksonville. And obviously the marquee game of preseason, if there is one, is the Seattle Seahawks, the defending Super Bowl champions, take on the team that they beat in the Super Bowl on the road at Denver. That is going to be probably the most interesting preseason game. And like I said, you can catch all 65 preseason games by buying NFL Preseason Live for only $19.99. Just go to www.nfl.com/preseason live. If you miss your team's game, it doesn't matter which week. You can go back and rewatch the entire game or just a 30-minute condensed version. It seems like I was selling that for NFL. If an NFL spokesman is listening, hey, I'm available. So, hey, pick it up. But anyways, it's a really good deal. You get all of them just for only $20. That's it. It's not $20 a month. It's not $20, obviously not a week. You get all of them. It's $20 a year, basically. And I think it's awesome because it leads into about, I think, week 2 or 3 of regular season, and then you can't watch them anymore, which is kind of dumb. It should be able to see it all year, but, I mean, it's just preseason. But anyways, that is it for today's show, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you guys next Monday morning. I finally got my microphone to work. Check this out. It was just a wire. That's all it was. It seems like common sense now that you check the wire, but every time I would plug it in, it said that it couldn't read the software on it, which it was weird. So I didn't think it could be a wire. Anyways, I switched out the wire. Kabam! It works just like magic. We're right back at it. I don't know, but no worries. It is back. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you're listening on Spreaker, iHeartRadio, or YouTube, make sure you guys leave a like and share while you were there. Share it to all your friends and family. And I will be back next Monday where we will talk about all the preseason games, other news around the league, and whatever else is happening in the sports world. Again, thank you guys so much for listening. I will see you guys back next Monday. I'm out. God first. God bless. Peace.